Hey everybody, it's Monica with King's Titan Homestead, and this is it. Here's the one on toilet paper. So, did you know that the average adult will use around 100 rolls of toilet paper per year? Per year, 100 rolls. So let's think about that. They run around $1 a roll right now. I mean, like, I think the other day the Charmin was actually more than $1 a roll. And this is my husband's favorite toilet paper by far. I mean, you go into the store to get toilet paper for our household, you have to get Charmin. I mean, it's really... So anyway, that's his favorite. Me, I don't care. I get by with any toilet paper. But that you got to get for Dan. So, yeah, if you want to buy Dan birthday presents, you can get him some Charmin, especially as the prices go up. So why are we talking about toilet paper? Well, do y'all remember, right when COVID hit, there was this mad rush on toilet paper? Well, that wasn't a supply issue. That was a demand issue. And that demand issue was caused by rumors, pretty much. That's it. I mean, was it a mass, experiment by the government? I'm not going to go. I'm not that like that. Or was it just a joke, a prank that people on social media just decided to start and see how far it would go? So here's the thing. If you prep as the supplies are high, that's not considered hoarding. I really have a huge issue with people who think that if you have a small supply of things to get you by in an emergency situation, whether that be a natural disaster, economic problems within your own household, like a job loss, some crazy thing happens, like your plumbing needs replaced, or you need, something with your truck, and so your money, is drained out of your account while you're recuperating from some major hit. It doesn't matter. When you have a deep pantry or a prepped supply for emergency use, then it's not hoarding. I'm sorry. Hoarding is when there is a huge demand and you run in and you buy it so that nobody else can get it. That's hoarding. So if you prep through the year and buy an extra one whenever you go, and that's whatever we're preparing for, that's just being prepared. And it's better to be prepared than not. So with that said, 100 rolls per adult per year. That's cutting down 384 trees per person's lifetime. 384 trees to make toilet paper to wipe your butt. And get this, only 70 to 75% of the world doesn't use toilet paper. Only? That means 25% of the world is reliant on toilet paper. It's a luxury. It's not a necessity. So when all this was going on, I was just about busting up laughing. I mean, you do not need toilet paper. And the rest of the world thinks us Americans are crazy for it. We are the ones that are disgusting. So let's go through a little bit about the history of toilet paper. What did people use before Charmin came out, huh? So, or why doesn't the rest of the world use toilet paper? Number one, some countries lack the amount of trees. Some people can't afford it. Some of the third world countries there's no money, extra money for toilet paper. I mean, this is a luxury item. Some countries thinks it's a waste of money. I'm like, why would you give paper to buy paper to wipe your butt and throw it away? I'm like, and water is the universal solvent, not paper. Water works. So a lot of the other cultures in the world use water or bidet, and then some other cultures use their left hand. You don't shake with your left hand because that's the dirty hand, and you shake. Not necessarily dirty. They use soap and water to clean. It's not dirty. They think we're disgusting for using a dry piece of paper to wipe our butt. They're like thinking, how clean can you get doing that? So just think about it when you're going, oh, those people are gross. They don't use toilet paper. This is cultural, and that's the way they were brought up, and that, I mean, just think about it. So what are the alternatives through history? Archaeologists have found, I think here in the Southwest, Dan could tell me which site they were found on probably, but a pot, just big, huge storage pots in caves that had corn cobs in them. And I'm not talking about the whole corn with the kernels. I'm talking about just the cob in the middle. And the cob in the middle, this is hybridized corn. This is not the size of corn, native corn, or even how corn used to be. Man has created this corn to be bigger and sweeter and more delicious. But prehistorically, or even historically, earlier, 1900s, corn wasn't this size. So the corn cobs were only about this big. So basically, if you've ever bought a popcorn corn, that size corn cob. So this size corn cob, huge, huge. Oh, but think of that. So, corn cob and corn husk, totally usable as an alternative if you must have it. Also, when you're going out to the outhouse, what was the best reading you had? The Sears catalog. So the Sears catalog, basically, they would just rip out a page out of the Sears catalog and there you go. Clean that right up. So, man, look at all these books. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day who is a volunteer for the Friends of the Pima County Library or the Friends of the Tucson Library, can't remember, doesn't matter. But they were talking about how many books they throw away by the tons. And I said, wow, they're throwing away a lot of toilet paper. And he just was like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, as long as it's not glossy, it can be toilet paper. You might just have a little ink, but you'll be clean. So, clean in the American sense, not in the European or Middle Eastern sense. So you just got to think about culture-wise. But look at all this toilet paper. Start with your least favorite book. So there's alternatives. The morning paper, coffee filters, other paper napkin types like napkins, tissues, paper towels, paper bags. You just can't flush them. Don't flush that type of material. And you know, some women are like, well, you can use menstruation cycle pads or whatever. That, you know, I wouldn't do that. That's a waste. Those type of things are really good for soaking up. I'm not going to talk, well, in emergency situation, if you don't have bandages, that's where I would use those. But anyway, so old phone books, if anybody has them anymore. But yeah, these are the kind of things, but you just don't flush them. You can wet them a little bit with a little bit of water, or you can sit there, I don't know if it, you know, you can sit there and start to degrade the paper so that it becomes softer by rubbing it back and forth. Again, just don't flush those items. Reusable toilet cloth, also known as family cloth. Have you watched, there was a series a long time ago, gosh, probably 10, 15 years ago or so, and it was about taking families that volunteered to be on, it was one of the like the Learning Channel or Discovery, I can't remember, but it was about pioneer living, and they literally took these families up out of their city life and threw them into the pioneer living, and they had to get used to family cloths. And what those are is basically just a square of scrap cloth, and every family member has their own cloth, and you reuse it. Yes, you reuse it. So if you're doing that, you might want to have like a little container of like vinegar, baking soda, bleach, or whatever next to the toilet, so that whenever you do that, you have something to put it in to start degrading that bacteria and stuff like that, keep it cleaner. The problem is when everybody wants to stop using paper and go to cloth products, you have to wash those cloth products. So here's this balancing act. Using trees and paper, using water. You're using more water in order to not use the paper products. So if you're in an area like I am, where a couple of years ago we only had 5 inches of rain for the entire year, we have water shortages. It's one of those things that you're going to have to weigh out. What do you have more of? So what can you do? Again, water. You could add a bidet to your own toilet. Check it out. This is just adding a bidet. Here's the control. Water squirts out here. These are like 35 to 60 bucks or so. You can use that in place of toilet paper. So if you're getting a shortage or there is a high demand and you're going, I'm not going to add to this, I'm not going to play that game, or if you don't have enough for some odd reason, you got backup. You don't have to use it all the time, but it's your backup. Another backup, if you don't want to go that direction, these are Perry bottles. So this is what doctors give to women for postpartum care. So after a woman has a baby, this might be an item that they use to keep that area clean while they're healing. So these Perry bottles are actually used as traveling bidets. So the bidet that would hook up to a toilet. If you're going to a country that doesn't believe in toilet paper or bidets, and you're particular about these kind of things, you can use the Perry bottles. So they also call them a traveling bidet. So you put this basically in your suitcase, take it along with you, and this is what you use to clean. So, smooth rocks. Sometimes you're just not around toilet paper. You might be out hiking or doing something like that. So smooth rocks, you don't want any jagged edges on them suckers, but just a smooth rock will work too. Same goes with smooth sticks. And did you know that in Japan, that something that they previously used was sanded bamboo sticks? I mean, you can get really creative with these things. And last but not least, we need to go out to the garden. Okay, and lastly is plants. Soft plants. Like this. Oh, that's milk thistle, not that one. Like this, nice and soft. So, soft plant ideas. This is mullein. Also, sage. It's got a nice scent to it too. Sage is nice and soft. Especially those culinary sages is what I'm talking about here. Banana leaves, maple leaves, cottonwood leaves, lamb's ear, comfrey. So some of those plants I just mentioned are actually medicinal. And so if you're putting in a medicinal garden, they're dual purpose then. You'd be able to use them as toilet paper and grow them too. So basically you wouldn't be wasting as much water because you wouldn't be just growing toilet paper. But if you're out there and you're harvesting, or you already have these items in your garden, or you're out hiking or something and you need something to wipe with because you didn't have anything along, you can use plants. Just be careful. You don't want to use anything that's going to cause itching, burning, or anything like that, like poison ivy, stinging nettles, or anything like that. So basically just kind of, you know. So those are some of the ideas that I've had, you know. I have been long-term in this. I mean, like, I have been studying the Great Depression, living prehistorically through time, culturals, and stuff like that. I like to study how people did without. Toilet paper is a new thing. You don't need it. So make sure to comment below. Tell us some of the things you've had to use in emergencies, and what you think about storing 100 rolls of toilet paper for the year just for one person. I mean, where would you put that? I mean, it's just not economical, and it's not wise. I mean, that's just all there is to it. I mean, we're getting soft here. Toilet paper is a luxury, not a necessity, and so comment below. With that said, stay tuned for the next item that we're going to be doing kind of in our little Be Prepared anti-inflation series kind of thing. So yeah, I'm off to work with the puppies.